Dangerfield, Dangerfield.
Hello there, and yes, we are back. The greatest Dragon's Den reaction video collection in the galaxy is about to be expanded by one. And they're not my words. No, that someone said that in the comment. Well, not exactly that, but I'm just going with the crowd. Now, I usually apologise because I live in a tropical climate. I've got my fan on. Yet, for some reason, this recording, the Dragon's Den video, has got ridiculous white noise. Now, I haven't seen the video, but I have to do a sound check, so I have seen the first few seconds. And for some reason, it's like... But my Dragon's Den dealer sent me this one and said it's a goer. So we'll be enjoying this together. Apologies for the... But, you know, such is life. Here we go. Creakiest of stairs. Come on, Dragon's Den. Put some money into the stairs. Oh, they built a lift, didn't they? This must be so old. Like 15 years old. We'll find out by Meaden. Meaden's face is the measure of time passing. Oh, she's got a little cheeky smile. She's coming in with something good and something glittery. Glitter's not good, is it? No one likes glitter. Glitter instantly makes something look cheap. If someone sends you a birthday card and when you pull it out there's glitter on it, it's either homemade or from the Orient. Well, that's what it was like in the 80s anyway, which was the last time I received a birthday card. 1 second. I might edit that out, but if you just saw that, put your in the comments, tell me what just happened there. Continue, dragons. There you go, look, Meaden, I mean, relatively looks about 13 compared to the sun-dried tomato head she is these days. And that's not a negative judgment. I mean, time catches up with all of us, but that is a very young Meaden. So yeah, this is probably about 1,500 years old.
Hello, my name's Bonnie Hargreaves.
Never trust people who giggle nervously after they say something. You can laugh after you say something, but when you do that sort of... they're not sure of themselves in any way. And there's a problem with that because, you know, you just want to grab them by the ears and say, be who you are. Don't apologize. It's like an apology, isn't it? Stop apologising for who you are. You might not be great, you might not be good, you might not be excellent, you might not stand out amongst the crowds, but you are you. Stop apologising.
Here with my product.
My suggestion is she'll do that a few more times throughout this. If not, then I apologise. And it's just the initial embarrassment and shock of, you know, nerves of arriving in the den.
Which is called Crystal Boots, and I'm looking for an...
It's a Wellington boot. It's a frighteningly sexual looking Wellington boot. Any of that sort of translucent latex? No.
Investment of £100,000 in exchange for 30% equity in my company.
100 grand for 30%. Okay, so she's valuing her company at about 330,000. So she's got to have a turnover of about £1 million, if not more, because I can't imagine she's getting those sensual boots produced that cheap. I can't imagine the margins are good. Anyway, look at old Farley, the old aristocrat gone to seed. A handsome man, but there's something there that's just not quite right. That's his response to her nerves. That sort of, you know, it's almost like massaging his TGD. Is that what it is? TJM? You do the work.
I can see at least one of you saying, what on earth are these?
And there's that little laugh there in the middle of the sentence. Couldn't even get to the end. I'm not digging at her. I am digging at the fact that she's wearing her product. But...
Well, they're wellies. But they are unique as wellies.
They're really awful. Awful things.
They're the only interchangeable or a Wellington boot that can change its appearance.
Now, yeah, there's a reason for that, because Wellington boots have a function to jump around in puddles. I can't imagine anyone has ever put on some wellies and gone, I wish these would change their appearance. And if you really wanted to, I'm sure a bit of spray paint would do the job.
So that effectively is the same boot.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it is the same boot. Yeah.
It's a two-part product. Firstly, a transparent or
well corrected.
translucent Wellington boot, which is 100% waterproof. And then when added the magic ingredient,
which is a pair of socks.
Which is the Crystal Boot slipper sock.
Crystal Boot is amazing. Crystal meth. Crystal Boot slipper sock. I mean, from a marketing perspective, it's shocking. They're not even for slippers. They're for Wellington boots. But, I mean, I kind of like it in a way. You just say the opposite of what something is. Most marketing does that. But Crystal Boot slipper sock is... it's incredible.
It changes its appearance.
Look at him. Jones is going to be getting on some Ritalin in a minute to get through this. Look at him. He's not even looking at her. He's just looking at... He's noticed a weird pattern in the tiling on the wooden floor there, and he's thinking, that looks a bit like a cow.
Is a slipper, which you wear inside your boot.
Oh, it is a slipper sock. I take it all back. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that because it's ridiculous. Mum, where's my wellies? And where's my slippers? Hey, why don't we combine the two?
Very useful.
You could also combine a pipe and an umbrella. Go well with your wellies and your slippers.
The back door, when you've got muddy-footed children, to slip off the boot and they can run indoors and play. So they've all got anti-slip soles. It's also a sock which keeps everything up, on and in. It's also a welly warmer because of the way it's constructed.
Don't say welly warmer. Come on. You've made us all say that hilarious, unpleasant other warmer from the 80s now. You've made us say that. It's a terrible thing to say.
It traps the air, and it's
Darling, that's it. That's it. You've said it. It's a translucent welly, and you get a pair of socks with it that have got some kind of slipper sole. End.
It is. Something else, can't remember.
Wow, she's got something of that old school teacher about her, hasn't she? You can imagine her really going off the handle at you as well. There's so much pent-up anger in this woman, and it's an anger of failure. I mean, I am judging her. I mean, where did she get her hair done to go on telly? Ron the Butcher's in Dartford. I mean, look at it. I'm going on telly, I need my hair done. Oh, Carol at number 19 will do it. She comes round, half a bottle of vodka down, 12 o'clock in the morning. What are you selling? Is it those stupid wellies? Look at it, hasn't been washed in weeks. So I think this woman has got a general sense of life has been hard on her. And it's about to get a lot harder because she's trying to sell for 100 grand. A 30% cut in something useless.
Anyway, to date...
I wonder who she was looking at then. Let's just go back, because she was certainly looking at something or someone. Up. Right, so she looks at them questioningly. Her brain, her operating system... She's got her hand in a translucent welly, which is always a weird, That's an odd situation to be in when you know you're going to be on telly. But where does she look and why?
It is something else, can't remember.
Right there. What is that? There's someone or something that she feels safe to focus on. There's a point of safety over there. It's usually the lift, but as we know, she came up the stairs. So there's no lift.
Anyway, to date, I have conceived, developed, manufactured.
And you see this pained look in all the dragons we've shown. Now, yes, most of it's B-roll or B-reel. The Americans call it B-reel, I think. So they do these little head shots. But, you know, even if they were edited in afterwards, it's because the editors know this is uncomfortable, this is painful, this is awkward. This is a human, again, a human failing. And it's unpleasant. And the thing about it that irks me is that it's not necessary. You know, play in life, play the hand you've got. Don't try and bluff it. Don't try and sleight of hand it. You know, if you've got a pair of nines, play a pair of nines. Don't pretend to be something else. And that's what she's doing, and so that's where all the nerves come in, because she's not being herself. If she just went up there and said, this is who I am, this is what I've got, what do you think of it? Do you want to invest? I mean, I know it has to be slightly more sort of performative and presentational, but she's elevated herself to a position she's uncomfortable in. And other people will feel that, you know, and then not only will they feel it, but it becomes them as well. And people don't want to be around people like that. You know, I see blokes trying to chat up birds all the time, and they're like this, and they're nervous, and they're all sketchy. And you know, my one piece of advice all the time is just be honest. If you're nervous, tell her. Just tell her. You say, I'm nervous, and it will just be like, I'm not very good at this, you know. My wife died 20 years ago, and this is the first time I've approached a woman in a bar. Rather than thinking you're James Bond, because once you elevate yourself to that position, well, you've got to play it out, and you ain't got the chops anyway. And
sold 3,500 pairs of crystal boots from my kitchen table.
It's not enough though, is it? 3,500. Let's assume she's making a tenner a pop, you know, 30 odd grand, and she wants them to put 100 grand in. Over what time period did she sell 3,500? You know, this is just look at Duncan's got his head in his hand. That's what you do when someone's told you that they're leaving you.
Crystal Boots puts the fun back into functional.
Oh, you really convinced us with that one. I mean, that face there, look at that little micro expression there. You know, that's like you've just said to someone, listen, if you can throw this dice and roll a 6, we'll give you 500,000. She's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. You know, come on.
Thank you.
I'll tell you now, this is going nowhere. She's getting ripped to pieces. And I'm going to guess, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be right. Great band, Public Image Limited. There's a character, Johnny Lydon, Johnny Rotten. He has always been right where he thinks he is, and he's pulled it off. Anyway, little bit of music there. Did you see me nervously laugh after I said that? Because I didn't feel confident in bringing that into this situation. We all do it, but, you know, not... Anyway, point being, my guess is that her anger and her sense of failure are going to erupt into her personality and start showing itself. You know, all this early kind of... that's gonna rotate 180 degrees, and she's going to be quite an unpleasant woman.
Thank you very much indeed.
It's another finger there, though. It's another one doing the same thing. It's almost, it's a self-soothing ear TMJ massage. That's what that is.
Bonnie Hargreaves is offering a 30% stake in Crystal Boots.
I mean, just let's have a look at her teeth there. I mean, that is B-roll, you know. She's not responding like that to silence, but just have a look at what she does here. Well, watch it in slow motion, actually. Watch the many different gestures that expressions, sorry, that her face goes through here.
Bonnie Hargreaves is offering a 30% stake in Crystal Boots in return for £100,000 investment. But her pitch has left the
Sorry, I was getting a bit hypnotised. I thought it went on longer than that. Maybe she's going to do it now and I totally missed it.
dragons in the dark about the business behind the boots.
Yeah, that's a comfortable person.
What's your total turnover been?
My total turnover has been about £80,000.
That's turnover. That's revenue. That's not profit. That's how much money in total. And she wants them to give her 100 grand. She's valued her business. What was it, about 330,000? Where do you get that figure from when you've only taken 80 grand? Look how nervous. Look how. You know, she knows that's awful. That face is like, yeah, 30 grand or 80 grand. Yeah, it ain't great.
Over what period?
2.5 years.
Let's just have a look at her. Watch when she says 2.5 years.
Over what period?
2.5 years.
It's like a confession. You know, it's like an interrogation. They finally got it out of her. 2.5 years. Okay, shit. It's rubbish. It's no good. It's useless. Yeah. Sorry. It's a waste of time being here. But this is where she starts getting angry because the truth's out. She's put a pair of 9s down now, and she's been pretending she had a full house. Duncan's just doing the maths now, thinking, well, hang on a minute. You want me to give you more money than you've taken already for only 30% of the business. How does that work out? Sleeping. When we eye block, when we shut our eyes or just not look at someone, it's because we don't want to witness it. We don't want it to be part of our reality. Check out Pedro. I think he's got his eye. He's looking down at the beginning, then he shuts them. It's longer than a blink. He doesn't want this. He doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to have to suffer it. Watch him.
2.5 years.
Look at her. That face. If I was a cartoonist and someone said, I need you to do a cartoon as someone who's like, you know, really embarrassed and as, you know, the cat's out the bag that she's fucked it up. That's the expression I'd draw. That's more transparent than her boots. You could stick a Willy Warmer slipper sock in that and you wouldn't be able to see any of it.
I'm lost for words. I really am.
While he's lost for words, I'm going to talk to you.
Thank you, Theo.
Where's the business that you...
She thought it was going to be lovely. It was going to be a bit of relief straight away. Where's the business? What is this shit?
want me to give you £100,000 for?
Excuse the pun, but we'll saturate the market with crystal boots. I've only had a certain amount of investment to be able to buy a very small quantity of crystal boots the
Should have spent it on getting your hair done.
first time round. This time round...
Look at his expression, look. Looks like he's constipated.
I'm going to go off and go and get these manufactured in bulk this time. I'm going to sell them through every high street outlet that you can possibly think of.
Why? Why haven't you already done that though? It doesn't make any sense. Meaden's looking at her thinking, look at my hair. Admittedly, Meaden's got the money for it, but surely you can get your hair cut and, you know, done once if you're going on telly.
I couldn't deal with the big boys last time, so when they were queuing at my door, I'm afraid that I used to turn them away.
Hang on a minute, you turned what? No, look, I can't deal with the big boys, they're the missus. If a big boy, you know, I don't know, millets or something, some camping supplies, a barber or someone comes to you and says, we wanna stock your boots. You say, can I have that in writing? I'll go to the bank, get a loan, get them produced, and we can do this. And they'll say, yeah, no problem. You don't go, no. No, I don't run my business by selling them to massive outlets. No, that's not how it works around here. Shocking. It's just rubbish.
Boots, Marks and Spencer's, Phoenix were all standing there. I turned them away because...
Well, you're an idiot then. This is ridiculous.
As I said, I only have a certain number here. I cannot supply you with these
Did you think of going to your bank or
Well, there you go.
saying to somebody, I've actually got all these orders here, can I...
At that time, I had been to the bank and I was turned down.
Right, well, in that case, there's a reason for that. You've got a terrible credit score, you owe a load of money, or, you know, banks will give money. If you turned up to a bank with, like, Boots, Phoenix, whoever else she said, written in paper, orders, they will give you that money, because that's how banks make money. Unless, of course, you're a liar, or you've proved yourself to be untrustworthy. I'm just not having it. I'm just not buying that. I am being offered money all the time. You know, every day I get emails offering me money because that's how people with money make money. You know, you don't take it because it's ridiculous interest rates and blah, 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 blah. But you can go to a bank and get money if you've got orders any day of the week. It's ridiculous.
Bonnie has shocked the Dragons by revealing that in the past, cash flow problems have prevented her from accepting orders from major retailers.
Yeah, and that's why they're all a bit, I don't know about this.
As the company stands, her sales figures suggest a poor return on the investment. Richard Farley has an even more fundamental concern.
Aren't they
It's the size of the knot in his half Wilson tie. Half Windsor.
just see-through boots with warm socks inside?
Exactly. That's exactly what they are. But they are, in fact, the only wellies that can change their appearance. So, effectively, this is the same boot. And there are many more socks that
They
I've had
change
made.
because you're wearing different socks.
So you
Wicked piss taking, wicked.
change the appearance of the boot by changing the socks.
Are there any see-through wellies on the market?
No, mine are the
There's a reason for that.
only pair of see-through wellies on the market.
And have you got the idea protected somehow?
It isn't patented, and I've decided not to go the patenting route because it's basically very easily copyable as a...
Oh, that's a great pitch. Give me 100 grand, but anyone can do this. There's no barrier to entry, nothing.
as a product, generically speaking.
For me to put 100 grand in something which can be just immediately imitated and probably at a much lower cost is not a business. I think that's something you need to give a lot of thought about.
Yeah.
So I'm out.
Bunny's inability to protect her product from copycat rivals has driven Richard Farley away.
Don't try and make it more interesting by saying copycat rivals. Let's just look at those clear tubes with socks and, I don't know, some kind of... What? It's not glitter, is it? What's that stuff called? Tinsel. Look at the tinsel sock boot she's got on the table. There's no copycat rivals. It's a clear tube of sock and tinsel.
From the deal.
In a weird way, she's a tube of sock in a sort of deportment and style. God, it's an hard life. It ain't easy out there, is it?
Can she persuade the remaining 4 dragons
Nope.
that her business still has potential?
No, she looks like she's halfway through a nervous breakdown.
You want 100 grand?
Wicked. Do that, Theo.
You've done 80,000 in turnover in 2.5 years.
Yep.
So what does that work out at? About, what, 30 grand a year? Whoa. A little bit less than that. Shocking.
From a lower down, you look like...
I love the fact she's worn a pair. She's actually worn them, and they look dreadful. There's something kind of... This is like a fetish of someone you really don't want to get to know. You don't want to let someone into your house who gets his missus to put those on. Or gets her to take them off, weirdly. Yeah, that's a proper Mobius strip there.
A fishwife.
Hang on a minute, I missed that here.
Yep.
From a lower down, you look like a fishwife.
This is where the anger's going to start. No one takes that. No one.
I just don't
Fishwife.
get it.
This product is actually, I'm launching it for children, or relaunching it for children, because it actually solves real problems. Have you got children?
5.
Right, do you ever get them into wellies to get them out in the fresh air?
They have got wellies.
They have got
but I've got to say, they've got various amount of wellies, but we never sit down and have a long, meaningful discussion because they put them on, go and splash around and chuck them off, leave them outside, get soaking wet, everything that goes with it. So, you know, it's not a big problem in my life.
No.
And in business, solving problems is pretty much the bottom line. That's what it's about. People have a problem. Have you got the solution? Oh, you have? I'll buy that product. What is the problem she's solving here?
No, it wouldn't be a big problem in your life. Perhaps the nanny, when she's got 5 of them.
Oh, and that's it. That's it. The gloves are off. The willy warmers are off. She's just accused him of, well, the nanny probably sorts it out, you rich bastard. Let's see how this goes.
Them trailing behind her in a muddy...
Duncan ain't impressed.
I've got to tell you, there's no nanny, there's Mrs. P.
Mrs. P. Right, Mrs. P, 5 children trailing behind, park, muddy, wet. Kids complain, Mummy, my sock's fallen down. Doing that 5 times, both feet, every 10 minutes, she wouldn't get round the park.
What the hell is that? Did you hear that? Or is that... Have I got something telling me my battery's running out? I've never heard that on the den before.
Minutes, she wouldn't get round the park.
Bunny's flippant comment hasn't done her any favours with the
that sound effect hasn't made Dragon's Den look any less like Star Trek either.
dragons. Duncan Bannatyne has heard enough.
Listen to it.
I hate people who make this assumption that because somebody is wealthy, they don't put their children's Wellingtons on and walk down the street with their children. You assume they have a nanny, and the nanny does it. That's what you said to Theo, and I find that insulting because I've got 6 children and I've never, ever, ever employed a nanny. So your assumption of how people live is wrong, you know, and that just got me. So I'm not going to invest, so I'm out.
Bunny's hopes of investment are dwindling by the minute. Richard Farley and Duncan Bannatyne are both out.
I wonder what the directors say to them when they do this B-roll. Can you all just look a little bit concerned and they all have to go and because there's no way this camera can, you know, pan past them when there's someone standing there.
Peter Jones remains unconvinced that he'd ever see a return on a £100,000 investment.
How am I going to get my money back? £100,000?
Look at the purple on that tie. How are you going to get your credibility back? I mean, it might have been the late 90s, but nonetheless.
How many
lilac?
of these do you need to sell to make
50,000 pairs in the first year will produce a turnover.
Right, I'm telling you now she's lying, because as soon as she said 50,000 pairs in the first year, and then there was like a weird hair flick that done nothing. Do you remember Hair Flick from Hello Hello? She's not. If she's not lying, there's something dubious about these numbers. Just let's have a look at that again.
50,000 pairs in the first year will produce a turnover of 500,000 in the first year.
Oh, I can't even work that out off the top of my head, but we'll see where this goes. I'm not convinced at all.
And what's the net profit?
Sorry?
A little deep breath there. Now that Ed's extended, this is all bullshit.
What will be the net profit?
Excuse my French.
200,000 in year 1.
And costs, just you?
Cost? How much would I cost?
Yeah, what's the business? You've just made 200,000.
There it goes again.
£1,000 net profit. You've made 40%.
She's self-comforting. Look at her licking her lips like a good one, like she's just eating a jam donut.
How much would I cost?
Yeah, what's the business? You've just made £200,000 net profit. You've made 40%.
No, she does a lip retraction like that, which is almost like I wish I hadn't started talking, and then she licks the sugar off her lips, so to speak.
Net profit. That's quite high. What's your gross profit percentage?
Exactly the same movement again, lip retraction and licking the sugar off her lips.
Gross profit was 500. No, that's revenue.
This is just guessing. There you go. No, that's revenue. But you haven't taken $500,000 in revenue. You took 80 grand in 3 years or something.
Revenue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't know the answer to that question. You'll have to
Wow.
move on.
You don't know. We'll have to move on, yeah.
Because I've forgotten it. Not a human calculator. Fantastic.
There you go. There's that obnoxious kind of just you know, stop it. Bring yourself down to where you are. You're all right. You know, you're probably quite a nice person, but you've got this weird inflated view of yourself, probably because you're standing in front of people who have been very successful, and rather than just accept the fact that they've done better in that aspect of their lives, you thought, no, I'm not going to stand for it. And this is why it's falling apart, and it's actually quite painful to watch at this stage. Sorry.
Stick brain for creative and design, but absolutely none for being a human calculator.
What is that? But you don't need to be a human calculator, because you can use a calculator before you came on the den and just worked out your revenue, your gross profit, your net profit on a calculator. Which, you've never thought about this. But you've come up with these random numbers. Give us 100 grand, can you? The company's worth 350,000.
Sorry.
And that's just a horrible way to talk to someone. Sorry, mate, I'm not a human calculator. It's fighting talk. And you're going to lose that on this subject against Peter Jones, who is dumbstruck. And why wouldn't he be? Because it's aggressive, and it's unpleasant. She's had a pop at him.
I think it's ridiculous. I'm out.
There you go, and that's why you get that line. Let's have it again.
Sorry.
I think it's ridiculous. I'm out.
Thank you.
Bunny's tenuous grasp of the figures has lost her Peter.
Tenuous is generous. Oh, yeah.
Jones. Deborah Meaden has also made her mind up.
Maiden's looking at her thinking, you do women business, you give business women a bad name. Oh, I'm great with designing things, I'm just not a human calculator. Yeah, but you're also not good at designing things. You've got no proof of that.
You don't have a business plan at all, and you have absolutely no idea what your revenue is, what your profit is. Absolutely nothing for me to base an investment decision on. Can't invest. I'm out.
Thank you.
Bonnie.
Oh, that, thank you. That, like it's like a bird, like a feathered variety out there, the one that didn't get a partner and is just, you know, looking through the dregs. The old pigeon with one leg and a bit of McDonald's stuck to his back. Like a bald chicken.
What's the life of it?
Nobody's come back to me with a pair that are worn out yet.
Well, let me help you. You heard of a thing called seasons? Mm-hmm. We get a few of them, yeah, for the year. Mm-hmm. Particular seasons, we need wellies, or we can use wellies. We don't need them, but we can use them. And children's feet grow very fast. So they use them for that season, and next season, they need another pair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but hang on, Theo. Then they'd buy more, surely. That's actually quite a good thing. It's quite a good thing, you know, for a producer of a consumer durable, that they actually need a repeat buy. That's not always a bad thing.
I know Mrs. P would go ape at spending 20 quid just for a month or two, and then knowing that they're not going to be used anymore.
Admittedly, that is a good point, because you can get wellies for like a £5. Well, you could when I was a kid. They're probably a couple of £100 now.
Well, what she's getting is 3 products, isn't she? She's getting a pair of Wellington boots, 2 pairs of slippers for $18.99, which are passable down in colour trends.
I've got twins. They don't pass
Give them one
down.
each and tell them to hop.
that face. I mean, imagine living with this woman. Give them one each and tell them to hop. I don't believe her accent either. I think she's from a working class background, or she's from a middle class background that lost its money. It's show. It's pretense of money at least. And she's holding on to that. Give them one, and you know it was a bit like that thing before. Boop, 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 boop. You know, give them one each and tell them to hop. You know, she's got that school teacher thing going on, and it's unpleasant. You know what? You know it works with 4-year-olds, and there's not a lot of 4-year-olds in business.
Theo Paphitis is the only dragon left in, but now he's heard enough from Bunny as well.
Everybody's got the right to be a little bit wacky, but I think you're abusing that right now. I mean, we are going over the top. There isn't a business, so unfortunately, I'm not going to give you 100,000 quid. I'm out.
Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, she's really unpleasant. I mean, I don't know if it saddened me. I mean, I'm not in the best of moods, to be honest with you, but that saddened me. What I got from that, the wellies, the wellies are, you know, they're almost not relevant in what we just saw. What we saw is someone who doesn't know how to communicate with people in a way that works. You know, linguistic and non-verbal communication is really important in life and essential in business. And not only did she not have those skills, her way of dealing with not having those skills was even worse. You know, she came across as unpleasant. She came across as the most passive kind of aggressive you can. You know, bob, 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 and all that lark. We'll give them one each and tell them to hop. Oh, here's my money. Let's go. You know, you've just treated me like a child. I'm going to look into this right now and see what her background is. Let's have a look. Well, this has got to be a first. Nothing. Bonnie Hargreaves. I mean, I should have paid more attention to the name. That explains a lot, really. She comes from money and it's all disappeared. But Crystal Boots, the company, doesn't exist anywhere. There's no mention. She's done no interviews. I have just spent far too long looking for Bonnie Hargreaves and or Crystal Boots online. There's nothing. It's remarkable. I mean, where did she sold £80,000 worth at 20 quid a pair. I mean, I'm not a human calculator, but I have got one here. 80 bosh divided by 20 quid. So she sold 4,000 pairs in 2.5 years. I don't think she even done that. I mean, Lord knows where. Maybe she set up a stall at her local sort of farmer's market every day, spunking her husband's money, making less money than the stall cost. I don't know. There's nothing out there. If anyone can find anything, let me know in the comments. But Bonnie Hargreaves is pretty much a ghost. And her company is less than that. Ta-da!
Sweet bit, sweet mama, sweet bit, sweet mama, sweet bit, sweet mama.